Welcome to John Pye Auctions, the nation's favourite online auction house. In our online auctions, you can get everything you need, whether it's fashion, furniture, tech or white goods, all at a price you decide. Auction lots include a mix of ex-display, clearance, end-of-line, retail returns, insolvency stock and failed deliveries, plus fully functional lots covered by a John Pye warranty. Bidding online is quick and easy, so visit johnpye.co.uk to place your bids today.
Good evening and a very warm welcome to Trent Bridge Live, and I really do mean a warm welcome. It is absolutely boiling here at Trent Bridge. Lots of people coming into the ground. Wherever you are joining us from this evening, we hope it's nice where you are as well. But as you can see, Nottinghamshire opener Ben Slater joins me this evening. Now, Ben, we've got to be very quick at the moment because Lizzie Jones is in the background. She's just about to sing. I'm going to leave it to Lizzie Jones. We'll be back with Slats in about 2 minutes' time.
Unbelievable.
You've not tuned into one of the classical music.
Okay, the amazing Lizzie Jones there, MBE, and she will be back a little bit later on, ready for walkout. But just to update you on the toss, Ben Slater's going to join me again very shortly. But Nottinghamshire won that toss, and Dan Christian has chosen to bowl. So let's just take a look at the Notts Outlaws selected 11 for this fixture. Okay, Alex Hales, currently top scorer for the Outlaws in this campaign 2022. Joe Clark will open the batting with Alex Hales later on this evening. Ben Duckett, strike rate currently of 169 for the Ben Duckett. He wears number 17. Samit Patel, 21. Everybody knows what he can do on a T20 night here at Trent Bridge. Tom Moores once again will take the gloves. He can be destructive with the bat. Will we see that later on? Dan Christian, the captain, currently on 115 runs this season. Stephen Mullaney wears number 5. Kelvin Harrison, second season with the Notts Outlaws in this campaign. Matt Carter, he will potentially open the bowling in the power play. That is Matt Carter. Luke Fletcher, 9 wickets so far in this campaign, the second highest for the Outlaws. Dane Patterson makes up the 11 and he will be making his 3rd appearance in this campaign. That is your Notts Outlaws selected 11 for this fixture. Okay, Ben Slater is about to join me. I imagine you're a little bit tired after your little fielding drill there. Are you okay?
I'm alright, yeah.
You're okay. Now, I want to talk to you, Ben, because we've had a 4-day game, well, 3-day game against Leicestershire. Obviously, a really good victory for that. But how are the boys feeling? Because obviously the T20 players have had a little bit of time off, but also, you know, the Red Ball team are going back to white ball tonight.
Yeah, obviously winning that game in the 3rd day meant it gave the lads another extra day off. So they had 2 days off, come into this fresh, raring to go.
Now, Birmingham Bears visiting us this evening. It's a really big game, this one, isn't it? They're 3rd, we're 6th. It's very close in the North Group. We'll take a look at that in a second. But Friday night here, we're in for a good night, hopefully, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to be the biggest crowd of the year so far. 12,000 in. So obviously, the lads are really looking forward to that. I love it when it's packed out on a Friday night and the weather's like this. So yeah, I think we're in for a good night, like you say. A big game against them. If we can win this and close the gap to the top teams, it'll be a good night.
If we just take a look at the table as well, in this North Group, people have really beaten each other, haven't they? And that means that 2 points tonight can really change it for both teams, if we're honest. But obviously we know what we talk about ourselves. How important is it that a home game, we put on a show and we get the result?
Yeah, I think, like you say, we want to do well in front of a home crowd. See our conditions, so we know the ground, etc. So yeah, I think we want to put on a show tonight, and like you say, 2 points, close the gap to the top teams.
Now, if we take a look at the remaining fixtures as well, we'll notice that we've got 5 games in 7 days, including tonight. That can be a good thing, can't it? But also, do you think we'll potentially see how important this game is, and then, you know, travelling up to Lancashire, Blackpool on Sunday, then get home on Tuesday, home on Thursday? It's a big period, these next 7 days, isn't it? Yeah,
I think so. I think we're on our last couple of games, so to go again and win this one with 3 in a row, I think it will be. And then, like you say, big trip to Blackpool on Sunday. But if you can get on a roll in these sort of times when the games are coming thick and fast, if you can get winning, it sort of can snowball. So if we can keep winning, you never know, we'll be on a good run after this next week. So
momentum's a massive word, isn't it, when it comes to T20 as well? And when we speak to different people, it says, like, don't get too high with the highs, don't get too low with the lows. And obviously the focus is on this evening. So when we look at Birmingham, what can we expect from them? What kind of players should we be looking at? Obviously, we've won the toss and bowled, so from a batting perspective, what should we be looking from that Bears team? Yeah,
I think we saw they're a dangerous team when we went down there and it was a reduced overs game, lost by the 1 run, but they're obviously a dangerous team, got some good players in that side all the way down, really. Obviously, overseas with Brathwaite and people like that, and with the spin, Briggs and Lintott, so be interested to see how they go tonight. But like you say, that they're a good side, packed with good players. So I think it'll be a good game tonight.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about the Notts team very, very shortly, but tonight is all about being more outlaw. Okay, so currently Colin Hazelden is getting the crowd into it, as he always does here on a T20 night. But just on that, how important can this crowd be for us tonight? Like you say, hopefully the biggest crowd that we've got, we can see up there, there's a school in, it's filling up nicely, but how important can these fans be tonight?
Yeah, I think home advantage, like I said before, and we know when there's a full crowd here, the atmosphere is brilliant. So yeah, I think the lads will be buzzing to get out there and perform in front of this crowd.
Now, you just said to me about the sun. You've got my shades on, I can see as well. It is a very, obviously, bright night. It's very sunny. The outfield is rapid. It always is here at Trent Bridge. How important will sort of the twos be tonight? You know, if you can get twos, put pressure on the fielders, get them running, find the gaps, how can they make a difference potentially on that target?
Yeah, I think what we saw with the Test match, the outfield's rapid, so I'm not sure the lads will be looking to run many twos, if I'm honest with you, Aaron. They'll be looking to fours and sixes, I think, especially in this heat. But no, like you say, I think the ones that you can turn ones into twos, obviously, at the end of the day, it can have a big impact. But look at the state of the outfield. I think there'll be plenty of boundaries tonight.
Don't say the state of the outfield.
Sorry, yeah.
Steve Burks will not be happy about that.
I didn't mean it, Burks. I didn't mean it.
Yeah, it needs a bit of water. Should we just say that? Right, let's look at the 11 from Notts. It's obviously a very experienced. Alex Hale's current top scorer. We've seen some form from him. Ben Duckett with a strike rate of 169. Obviously, we're chasing. Very famous Notts are for chasing a target. You don't really know what a good target is at this ground, though, do you? Every game we come to, we think we set a target, but we've got experience in that 11, haven't we, to get whatever Birmingham put on the board.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's probably one of the reasons why we won the toss. We won the toss, didn't we?
We won the toss, yes. Ben.
Shows how much attention
you were fielding, so we'll let you off.
No, I think that's probably one of the reasons we chose that. Go that way about it, because like you say, the size of the boundaries, the outfield, we probably won't know what a good score is until the end of the game. So yeah, that's probably one of the reasons why we chose the ball. Now,
obviously, from yourself, you had a couple of games last year. How just tell everybody how much fun it is playing T20 here at Trent Bridge. Friday night under the lights, it's a big game. We've already mentioned that. A full crowd, hopefully, but. Will the boys be getting nervous now, getting a bit of excitement, those butterflies ready to come out?
I think there'll be a few nerves, as always is, I think, when whatever game you're playing, but also that excitement as well, especially when you step out and the fireworks go off and all that rigmarole. So, they'll be buzzing. Get ready to go now.
Now, you're going to join me at the interval as well, aren't you?
If I think so, yeah. If you'll have me back.
Point to Twitter and see whether you want slaps back or not.
Twitter poll, get it started.
Get a Twitter poll. But just finally, obviously for yourself, let's just talk about yourself this evening. What duties do you have tonight? What is on Ben Slater's job role this evening?
Running the drinks and fielding if anyone gets injured. So fingers crossed no one gets injured, so I don't have to field. And I can just keep them hydrated. I can just keep them hydrated.
Well, that's a big thing tonight, though, isn't it? Like people talk, we talk about the 11, but obviously there's you, there's Sol, there's Lyndon as well. Keeping the lads hydrated, the bowlers and also the fielders, etc. I spoke to Ben Duckett earlier, and I said you've got a tough job out there on that boundary in that sun, Ben. He wasn't that impressed, but there we go. We'll move on. But it's an important role, isn't it, keeping them hydrated?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, obviously you said like nights like this, very hot. So yeah, every little helps, I suppose.
Okay, well, I'm going to let you go. But finally, I just want to say, we played Birmingham earlier on in June, 5th of June. Obviously, it was a watered kind of effect. It was a rain-affected game as well, and they got over the line with the last ball and stuff. So, revenge?
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll win tonight. Yeah.
Say no more, Ben. Say no more. Right. Oh, and then point to the camera. Bit cheesy, but there you go. All right, I'll see you at the interval. All right, cheers.
There you go. I'll put it down.
Unbelievable. Right, okay. Just to let you know, your commentary team for this fixture is Samuel Kelsall, ex-Nottinghamshire cricketer, and obviously Dave Bracegirdle. But as the lads get ready in the pavilion, we are going to hear from MBE Lizzie Jones once more. She is going to sing for us very shortly. So, I think I'm going to hand over to Lizzie Jones.
I think it's a toss-up, right? Whether it's Nessun Dorma or Sweet Caroline, the cricket favourite at the moment. One tends to start the evening and one tends to round it off. Whether the Notts fans will be heading home with a chorus or two of Neil Diamond's biggest hit or not remains to be seen. It's going to be Notts Outlaws against Birmingham Bears in the next 2 or 3 minutes. The news from the toss is that Dan Christian, the Notts skipper, has won his 5th toss out of 7, and Notts will be in the field. Dan Christian and co like to chase, so Notts will be in the field to start with. Unchanged Outlaws side: Joe Clark, Alex Hales, Ben Duckett, Samit Patel, Tom Moores, happily recovered from that knock he got at Leicester on Tuesday. Stephen Mullaney, Captain Dan Christian, Calvin Harrison, Luke Fletcher, Matt Carter and Dane Patterson, as the fireworks go off and the flares go up into the clear blue sky. The floodlights are on. It's quite a strange little combination of floodlights on and lovely blue sky and sunshine, my word. And some firecrackers as well. We'll talk through the Birmingham side as and when. Notts are on their way out to the middle in their green and gold, and as Alex said, I'm delighted to be joined for the first time in a while by former Notts batsman Sam Kelsall. Sam did a few games with us pre-COVID. We've not seen you for a while, so welcome back. Good evening. How are you?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dave. Yeah, it's great to be here. Always love coming back home, so to speak. Yeah, it has been a while, but no, real joy to be here tonight. It's what hopefully is going to be a great game in front of a brilliant crowd on an absolutely scorching hot evening.
I was thinking in a sense it's a while perhaps since you played here, but then look down that card and you see Samit Patel, you see Luke Fletcher, you see Stephen Mullaney. There's guys there that you played with, so it's not that long ago, is it, since you were all part of this?
Well, I think it was 2014 that I got released, but yeah, guys on the team sheet tonight who I still touch base with quite often, so yeah, it's great to see them out there and see some familiar faces. Hopefully touch base with them after the game.
We're not entirely sure how the Bears will line up because they've had 1 or 2 withdrawals, notably Paul Sterling due to family or personal issues. So Paul Sterling, the dangerous opening batsman, not out there. It's Rob Yates and Alex Davis who've started. Alex Davis, who made the winter move from Lancashire, aggressive, attacking, top order batsman. Rob Yates, left-hander, he's been promoted to the top of the order this evening. Luke Fletcher's going to get us underway. Trent Bridge, it's not full yet, but probably 60-70% full, and as we look round the ground we can see between some of the stands there's still lots of people waiting to take their seats, and we're going to get underway from the pavilion end with Big Fletch in to bowl the first ball, and that's gone through the batsman between bat and pad, I think, Sam, into the gloves of Moores.
Yeah, that's a great start. Good hard length, top of off. Looked like it just jagged back slightly as well, and cut Rob in half. Yeah, Rob's a great lad. Played a bit of minor counties with Rob just a few years back, and he's a really good player, up and coming young player with good prospects.
Tell you what, we've had the test match here and the outfield's absolutely parched, isn't it? Steve Burks will be longing to get lots and lots of water on it, but not able to over the last week. Next one's pulled away. Of course, there's not a great deal of protection in the outer parts of this parched Trent Bridge outfield, and that's pulled away for 4 runs. And the Bears are up and running. First boundary goes to Rob Yates. Shortish boundary on the Bridgeford Road side of the ground. It's almost as if Notts have said, we back ourselves to it, more sixes than you this evening.
Yeah, very noticeable. That, what would you say, that about 65 yards? That is in a long way.
No more than that, is it?
Yeah.
Seems to be the way, though. I think the crowds love to see the sixes. They won't want to see the Bears hit too many, as Fletcher Ball strikes him on the pad and asks the opinion of umpire Russell Warren. The ball runs out to point to Samit Patel. Russell Warren, who had a brief spell with Notts right at the end of his career, is standing at the pavilion end. Chris Watts is standing at the square leg at our end of the ground. They're the same 2 umpires, incidentally, that were on duty for the last championship match at Leicester. And here comes Fletcher. Halfway through the over, 4 runs, bowling to Rob Yates, who inches out of his crease and then unloads down the ground, and it will probably go all the way, and it does indeed. Kapow! The first 6 of the evening.
Yeah, great shot. Really strong cricket shot over mid-off on. I don't think Fletcher's done a great deal wrong there. He's trying to hit a hard length early on, and Yates has played a decent shot.
No Jake Ball in the Notts side. He was going along so nicely, then a reoccurrence of a niggle, so he's missed the last couple of matches. Leading wicket taker with 11. Not in again this evening. Fletcher once more. 10 runs already. That's a decent delivery outside, off stump. Extra little bit of bounce and carry there through to Moores.
Yeah, that was great carry. This is a fresh pitch tonight.
Yeah, we're a couple away. In fact, it's like 3 away from the Test match wicket, and I think you're right. It doesn't look like it's been used yet this evening. Almost in a line with the committee balcony, which is blacked out. Black tarpaulins being used as screens at each end of the ground. And Fletcher bowls, and Rob Yates will keep the strike, pushing the final ball of the over up to mid-off. Takes a single to proceedings for the visitors, and Luke Fletcher through 1 over for 11 runs.
We'll see some spin.
Looks as if it's going to be Matt Carter. Notts do take pace off the ball, Sam. They've got Carter and they've got Samit Patel. Don't know if you've seen too much of Calvin Harrison. Still Stephen Mullaney there every now and again. He's called into action, but looks for me certainly as if Matt Carter's had either a run-in with the sheep shearer or he's been to the barbers.
It's the 21st century, that is, Dave. Short back and sides. Skin fade, I think you call it.
They had short back and sides long before it became fashion. So Matt Carter, the big tall off spinner, going to be bowling to Rob Yates, who's dominated the strike and the scoring, and pushes this onto the onside and takes a single. 12 without loss here, Birmingham Bears on BBC Radio Nottingham. T20 cricket from Trent Bridge. Sam Kelsall, our special guest this evening, former Notts opening batsman. Still doing a lot of coaching, Sam?
Yeah, still enjoying it where I can. Yeah, in and around my full-time job, as well as family commitments. Got a couple of delightful young children now as well. So yeah, life's busy. Yeah, it's great.
Done you a favour, got you out for the evening then.
Well, one is Arthur is here somewhere, sat down.
First ball to Alex Davis. He cuts this to point where Ben Duckett does the fielding. There's no run, and as the throw comes in, it just eludes Tom Moore. It scuttled along the ground, and Tom Moores didn't take it cleanly, wasn't able to, and they nearly pinched a single but decided not to. Here's Carter again to Davis, who hits it into the offside, and this will go to the left of Duckett and away for 4. And this is a strong start from the Bears. A wicket would be needed.
Yeah, that's a good shot. Just using a little bit of width there that Matt offered.
Birmingham have played a game more than Notts. And they've won 5, lost 3 of their 8. Notts won 3, lost 3, and had 1 rained off. Carter bowls, and this one got big on Davis. He pops it up onto the leg side. Wasn't totally in control of the shot, but they take the single nonetheless. Davis on to 5.
You don't want to see too many of them batting second, Dave.
You don't. He's a tall man though, Carter, isn't he? He's going to get that bit of bounce, but Davis, in contrast, not the tallest. I think it's fair to say probably the average wicket-keeper's height. Rob Yates has 12. Slog sweep against Alex Davis, but there is protection out there with Dane Patterson, and just a single taken. 18 without loss. Notts lead the head-to-heads between the two sides, 11-9, and here at Trent Bridge, 5 wins to Notts, 4 wins to Birmingham over the years. And of course the sides did meet in the 2017 final and won that. And this one's hit into the offside, and Captain Christian pouches the catch, and there is the first wicket, and the dangerous Davis goes. 18 for 1. Davis driving to extra cover, and Dan Christian hangs on, and Alex Davis has to go.
Just looks like he took a little bit of pace off that. Good wicket early. Try and take as many wickets as he can in the power play. That's a good start.
Faced just 4 balls, Alex Davis. That's a really good start for Notts. Notice at the fall of the wicket, Sam, just how many people are now coming into the ground. The stewards have obviously held them back until the end of an over, or with that wicket going down. So that's going to fill up a few seats. The Smith Cooper stand on the Bridgeford Road side of the ground is always the one, of course, which is in shade, and a number of people who will have pre-booked their tickets I don't think have taken that side of the ground, but it might actually be the place to be. Here's Sam Hain, who has such a terrific record against Notts in T20 cricket, and on this particular ground he averages 301.
I did just see that tweet from Warwickshire's Twitter, and I had to have a little second look. It's unbelievable.
He's had 5 innings here, 4 not outs, top scorer 92 not out, and 301 runs for once out. But he's at the non-striker's end. Rob Yates is on strike on 13. Fletcher bowls, and Yates pushes to point, and Haynes will have to be quick. A direct hit. They're asking umpire Chris Watts. I suspect Haynes would have been home, but that is backed up, I think, by the umpire also shaking his head straight away. But it was a good bit of work from Ben Duckett, throwing down the stumps. And we've seen this before. Luke Fletcher bowling to Sam Hain. Cast your mind back to, if you wish, to Edgbaston 2017, and they've played against each other many times since. If you're wondering what I'm referring to, Sam Hain drilled a ball back to Luke Fletcher, and he just couldn't get out of the way, could he? Those of you watching on the live stream, by the way, apologies. We're well aware that the graphics aren't on at the moment. We will continually show you the score. We'll tell you the score until they get it sorted. Hain down on one knee, trying to scoop this down the leg side. It goes through to Tom Moores, and he missed it. Now, because he's gone down to play that shot, is that why it's not been called a leg side wide? Or would you have called it? What do you think, Coach?
I think I would have called that.
I was a little surprised that Russell Warren didn't.
Just more of the shot, first ball, you know. There's no having a look anymore, is there?
It's premeditated, isn't it? I think Rob Yates had a bit of a natter to Russell Warren, the umpire, at the far end, as if to say, shouldn't you be stretching your arms out? Here comes Fletcher again, bounding in from the pavilion end, and inside, well, in fact an outside edge, past the stumps and all the way along the ground to the wicket keeper. Sam Haines, in a bit of a hurry this evening, came charging down the track, and Rob Yates is just going to tell him you've got more time than you think.
I think that's the modern way now, isn't it? Intent from ball one. You know, we've had an attempted scoop and a advance down the pitch, looking to access the offside.
I'm wondering what the group are on top of the Hound Road stand. There must be 25, 30 of them, and they're all in yellow shirts. Maybe a stag weekend or some such.
School kids, maybe.
I'm not sure. I don't think they're school children. They look a little older than that. Fletcher bowls, and Haines inside edge onto the pad, so he'll get a single as it runs out to Calvin Harrison at point. And the Bears are up to 20 for 1, and we're in the third over. Could be a high score of this, I fancy.
Yeah, I'm hoping for that, Dave. I was looking forward to some.
Well, I'd settle for them being bowled out for 63 like they were last year at Edgbaston. Sorry, you're looking forward to some big hits?
Yeah, let's see some 4s and 6s, plenty of them. But a Notts win.
Hales and Clark on the rampage. That Hound Road stand absolutely rammed full now, with plenty of people in the Randall Suite as well, as Yates can't get this away. The two opening batters that the Bears have used up till this point, neither of them playing this evening. Paul Sterling, who, as we say, has pulled out of the squad with personal issues, and Jacob Bethel has only been averaging 10, the young 18-year-old, so they've decided to make a double change at the top, with Yates coming into the side and Davis being promoted from 3. There's Fletcher. Yates comes out of his crease, he's hit this up in the air. I don't think Carter will be able to get to it, he won't. It just drops in no man's land, and they take a single, and that could have gone wrong. End of the over, 21 for 1.
Really good over from Fletch. Really good.
That's 2 he's had. I suspect we probably won't see him until the 18th and the 20th, or the 17th and the 19th, something like that. Going to be Carter again. This is unchristian-like. I mean, Dan Christian, not the religion. It's not like Dan Christian to give bowlers even 2 in a row, but he's doing it with both the opening bowlers here. So it's Matt Carter bowling to Rob Yates, again down on the slog sweep, and he's got it fine. He's going to run away, and it will go for 4 runs. Didn't hit that properly at all, and he's got a little bit fortunate there as Rob Yates moves on to 19. The Bears are 25 for 1 at the start of the 4th over.
And that shows how quick this outfield is tonight. That was just, you know, a slight inside edge, and it's flown away.
It's not what Samit wanted. So he was in the runs yesterday. I'll tell you about that in just a second as Carter bowls. Down the track comes Yates, and he lifts it towards us, and it's cleared the rope down below as the second 6 of the evening. All ready for Rob Yates, who's in a hurry. He's on 25 from just 13 deliveries, and as ever, Notts will be hoping to get out of this power play and get some protection out in the deep for their bowlers.
Again, I don't think Matt's done a lot wrong there. I think it's a really, really good cricket shot. Rob using his feet and hitting straight through the line.
Nice looking shot, clean pick-up. Yeah, Samit Patel, so he had a game for the lashing side, you know, the celebrity, almost old international side. This one's forced into the offside for 4, penetrates the gap through that ring on the offside. Another boundary for Yates, who looks in good touch.
Yeah, I really like Rob. He's really good, strong player, left-handed as well. And again, I think that's just a really strong, you know, traditional cover drive.
He's not shy on leaving his crease, is he? Tom Moores could be in the game at any time. Miss it at your peril, Mr. Yates. Carter bowls, again down on the slog sweep, and again he's got it fine. And once more Samit, I think with a bit of a fruitless chase down towards the boundary boards at the pavilion end. 4-4-4. And Matt Carter just getting a little bit of tap here. He's got the 1 wicket to fall, but in this particular over, looks as if Rob Yates has got his number.
Yeah, looks like he's targeting Matt this over.
Ball retrieved. Just 3 yards to your left, Samit, and you'd have stopped both of them. Next one is just turned a little bit, didn't it? And Yates was again getting in a position to play it on the leg side, and then a little bit of turn that Carter found. He had to push it back to the bowler. Precious dot ball. Here's Carter again. Yates. Well, he's got this one to the right of Samit Patel, and he just waved it bye-bye. 4 boundaries in the over, and that's terrific stuff from the visitors. Not so hot from Matt Carter there, going for 4 boundaries in that over. He's 2 overs, 1 for 29, and the Bears 43 for 1.
Looks like that gamble of bowling him 2 in a row, Dave, has not worked.
22 from that over, and whether it's in the power play or not, that's the sort of over that you can perhaps get away with 1 of those in an innings, but certainly don't want any more. Wouldn't imagine you've seen too much of Dane Patterson, who's come in on skiddy bowler, South African international, couple of tests, over 50 wickets in the championship last year, and he's joint leading wicket taker again this year, having another fine season. Skiddy sort of bowler. Yeah,
he was due to play in our league back in Staffordshire. He signed for a club called Alworth, and then I think received a test call up, and then signed for Notts.
Good things have happened to him since. Here he comes, the only Pato playing at the moment, and his first ball is hit into the offside. It's just going to clear Calvin Harrison, who gets a fortuitous bounce and is able to throw it back in to keep them down to 2. That could have just zipped away from him, couldn't it, and gone all the way out to the ropes. So Notts a little unlucky that it didn't go to Harrison, but a little fortunate it didn't get any sort of forward momentum and run away to the boundary ropes. Hayne off the mark. Sam Hayne on 2. Patterson bowls to him, and another ambitious, that was almost a Sam Hayne slog, wasn't it, towards deep mid-wicket. Got nothing on it.
He certainly looks in a hurry tonight.
Uncomfortable weather for Pets. Let's hope it's uncomfortable weather for these particular Bears. They've got a fine start. 45 for 1 here at Trent Bridge in their yellow and blue shirts, blue trousers. Notts in the gold tops with the green numbers and the names Patterson bowls slower ball drilled to mid-off, and they'll take a single. 46 for 1. Just mixing it up a little bit, Patterson here.
Yeah, he's obviously a very clever bowler. You know, I've not had the pleasure of facing him, but I've heard, you know, great things about him. All the guys seem to say how skiddy he is. He bowls a real heavy ball, and obviously his record speaks for itself.
Brings Yates back on strike. This could be interesting. He's facing him for the first time this evening. Rob Yates on 37. Let's clip this away. Just to the right of umpire Watson. Joe Clark will do the fielding. Joe Clark will been wanting to put one over Birmingham this evening. There's intense rivalry, isn't there, between Worcestershire and Warwickshire, and as a former Worcestershire player, the pair will want to put one over the Bear. 47 for 1. Sam Hain back on strike. There's Patterson to bowl to him. Down the leg side this time, and this one is called as a wide by umpire Russell Warren. Two sides met at Edgbaston 2 or 3 weeks ago. The rain ruined it. Thought actually it was going to be called off, and then they decided they could get an 8-over slog in. Birmingham got 98. Notts were well on course. They were 54 for 1 after 3 overs, and Alex Hales got out. They needed 44 from 5 overs with 9 wickets and finished up 1 short. Patterson to Hain, short and pulled down to long leg, and in fact it's bisected the 2 fielders there, and neither Luke Fletcher nor Ben Duckett can get anywhere near, and that's the half century up for Birmingham. 52 for 1. This is a promising start on what we thought would be a quick scoring outfield, and that's how it's proved.
Yeah, I think we could try and get out of this power play with minimal damage as they can. I think very fast scoring ground tonight.
Be interesting to see who bowls the 6th over, whether Dan Christian will bowl it himself or give it Samit Patel. Oh, it's a lovely pick up from Sam Hain. That's an early contender for shot of the night, and it's been well caught. Has he caught it? No, he's not. He's dropped it. It was actually a crowd catch by a member of the crowd, because he fooled everybody into believing that he'd caught it. He celebrated, but he spilled it just on the stairs there of the Fox Road stand. It was a lovely pick up from Sam Hain, to be fair, and after 5 overs it's 58 for 1, but that's an early contender for shot of the night.
Just seeing his mates' reactions now as he sits back down. They're not happy. Yeah, great shot.
There's going to be Captain Christian. Been reading his autobiography. All-rounder out now. Talking to Dan about it the other day. The slightly disappointing thing, it's 12 months of his life, almost a diary, a day-by-day account, 12 months of his life throughout 2021. So as Notts supporters will know, he came here to play last year, but then just before the tournament started, the blast started, he got called away to play for Australia. So I would have liked more, like to have read about, his games for Notts. This is played on the leg side. He'll get a single because there's all the talk of his stuff for Sydney Sixers and Royal Challengers Bangalore and Australia and Karachi Kings, all the other sides that he did play for in 2021. Lots of detail, lots of thought process into how he plays, when he's bowling different batters, when he's batting different bowlers. Very, very interesting, a real insight into the man, as you can imagine, but just a real shame that he didn't play any cricket in England last year, because I'd have loved to have read about how he went against the Lancashire players, the Yorkshire players, etc, etc. 59 for 1. One thing I can tell you, and it's perhaps more pertinent if I save it until Carlos Brathwaite comes out, but he spent a lot of time in lockdown with Carlos Brathwaite. Next ball is Hain again, throwing the bat at it, and it goes through to the keeper. He's such a technically correct batsman, Sam Hain, normally. This is a little bit sloggy from him this evening.
Yeah, I haven't really seen him play. He's quite a touch player, I think, Sam Hain, and he's looking to certainly try and clear them ropes tonight from what we've seen so far. It's a little bit out of character, maybe.
He's one that 4, 5, 6 years ago he said would be nailed on to have a good England career, and it's just never happened for him, has it? It's not the way to runs that's kept him out. Drives into the offside. That's Sam Hain.
Yep.
Glorious extra cover drive for 4. This is the 6th and final over of the power play, and Notts will be desperate to get some protection on those short boundaries, but that's a lovely shot bisecting the offside ring.
Yeah, I think that shot is what I know of Sam Hain and what I've seen him do, and yeah, just a lovely cover drive.
Maybe, felt coming in at 3, a little bit of momentum given them at the top of the order by Yates. Perhaps he thought he had to, just try and press on and be an aggressive number 3. Maybe he might settle down a little bit. He's cut this away. That'll be 4 more. Second time in the innings already we've had 3 4s in a row, and this time it's Captain Christian going for boundary. 67 for 1 in the 6th over.
He's so far tonight. It's just beating the fielder, isn't it? It's not either side.
Last year here, Warwickshire got, Birmingham, as they like to be known, got 227. And Notts got 211 chasing, and for both those sides it's their highest score against this opposition. Both came in the same match. It's Christian bowling. Hain works it on the leg side and fielded by Clark. There's no run. 67 for 1. It's been strange for the last few years. They've pretty much alternated wins. Notts went to Edgbaston last year and bowled the Bears out for just 63. One of the better performances. They just couldn't get to grips with the leg spin of Calvin Harrison. They'd already won here with Brathwaite hitting Peter Trigo for I think 4 6s in an over. This year the 8 over slog, so it should be Notts' turn to win if there is such a thing as turns, which of course there isn't. Last ball of the power play. Birmingham Bears 67 for 1. Dan Christian to bowl to the right-handed Hain. It was a ball that pace was taken off it. Hain mishit it onto the leg side. There's an opportunity here for a run out at the far end, and that's got to be out. No, he's got home, or has he? Keeps on running, Sam Hain, but he's going to turn and come back, I think. I thought there was a really good opportunity there. The throw was good. It was straight in on the bounce to Tom Moores, whipped the bail off, and I don't know, just maybe when it bounced, just took a little bit of pace off. But I did think he was going to be able to get him run out there, but the opportunity went. 69 for 1 at the end of the power play. Do you think the run out was on there?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I was actually thinking I don't think there'll be many 2s tonight with how far that boundary is in. But obviously they've run really well there, and Sam Hain's made it in. I thought the throw was pretty good.
If it was Harrison or Clark, they both went for it, but
I think Clark was the one who threw it in. Yeah.
Straight in on the bounce to Tom Moore. So Samit Patel is going to bowl the final. Well, he's not. He's going to bowl the first over out of the power play, the 7th over of the innings. Man of the match in the 2017 Blast final against the Bears. Bowls now, and Rob Yates down on one knee with a slog sweep. And there is that protection out there with Joe Clark, and they just get a single.
So how many did he get last night, Dave? Samit?
He got a century playing for the Lashings yesterday, and there are a lot of old England players, including a couple of his former teammates, Osman Afzal and Ryan Sidebottom, played in it. But that's a nice lucrative gravy train, isn't it, for some of the retired players? And of course Samit, he's not playing red ball cricket at the moment, so he'll take whatever freelance jobs he can get at the moment. This one's hit into the offside, and Harrison does the fielding this time, and there's a single. 71 for 1.
Is he retired, Dave, from red ball, or he's not? Is he?
Yes.
Is he?
He is. Yeah. They, I think it was sort of a mutual decision. I think he was getting so many opportunities to play franchise cricket. Next ball is pushed into the offside by Yates, and there's no run. And of course Liam Patterson-White's emergence, and I think it was sort of felt that no longer sort of right to hold him back, and it's probably the right decision. Everybody's happy by it. This one just chipped to Carter at short fine, and they steal a single. 72 for 1. 4 balls from Samit, 3 singles so far. Need to put the brakes on. As we all know, T20 cricket all about momentum. If a side starts to hit those boundary boards, they can be hard to drag back, as Hayne cuts this out to Harrison again. Don't think it'll be too long before we see the leg spinner in action. That game at Edgbaston, the 8-over game, it got a lot of headlines. I don't know if you saw, but there were 2 retirements. Carlos Brathwaite for the Bears retired. This one goes through to the keeper as Yates tries a reverse hit, misses it, and Samit has bowled a tidy enough over for 4 runs, 73 for 1 after 7. Carlos Brathwaite retired because he could see that Calvin Harrison was going to bowl the final over, and he reckoned he couldn't hit leg spin, so he retired himself out. And then the final ball of the match, Notts needed 2 to tie, 3 to win, and they retired Samit Patel to send out, I think it was Calvin Harrison they sent out as a quicker runner. It was all very bizarre.
Yeah, I was watching that on the live feed and trying to keep up with, trying to figure out why these guys were walking off the pitch.
Well, that's it. We wondered if Brathwaite had got a niggle, but
you would think Carlos would back himself to hit spin out of the ground.
Apparently not. Apparently not. Matt Carter's back. His second over got a bit of stick. He's bowling to Sam Hayne now. 2 overs, 1 for 29, but with that extra protection, Dan Christian thinks Carter's the right man for the job. This is cut out onto the Fox Road boundary, fielded by Stephen Mullaney. If you're just joining us, it's T20 cricket night from Trent Bridge. Good crowd in, lovely conditions. Notts Outlaws against Birmingham Bears, 2 sides that traditionally produce high-scoring thrillers, and this one looks as if it might do the same as Carter gets a little bit of drift outside the off-stump, and Yates, who's on 41, misses it. Again, if you're watching the live stream, apologies, they are trying to get the graphics back up and working soon as they can. This one's hit away onto the leg side, and again it will clear the ropes and doesn't quite make the front row of the stand. It did just enough to drop over the rope and clatter into that brick wall, and Matt Carter hit away for 6. You were glad you were a batter and not a bowler.
Yeah, but I couldn't. 6s wasn't my game, Dave.
80 for 1. Yates on to 47. Terrific innings this from Rob Yates, and Samit won't get there, and that's going to be the half century for Rob Yates. Poor old Samit's had some running to do. The ball hit to both to his right and to his left this evening, and a half century from Rob Yates from just 26 balls. That's been terrific cricket from Yates, promoted to open the innings. He's hit 6 4s and 3 6s, and he's got this Bears side off to a flying start after Dan Christian won the toss. Carter in again to Yates, drives to extra cover, and there's no run.
Again, you just see a faint edge beating the short third there.
Next ball, very full, wasn't it? It's dug out by Yates, and Ben Duckett will throw it to the near end. Had it been another direct hit from Duckett, once again they'd have been turning towards the umpire, but it wasn't. He missed. End of the over. 8 have gone, and it's getting up towards 11 and over. Sam, 86 for 1, Birmingham Bears here at Trent Bridge.
Yeah, they're going really well here. I think it looks a really good wicket. Any sort of width looks to be going. I think they've batted really well. There's some strong cricket shots. Rob's looked to sweep or use his feet against the spin, and Sam Hayne looks to just be ticking along now and will make any use of any bad ball.
Well, this doesn't make any sense at all. Rob Yates, Samit Patel comes in. He's going to bowl to Hayne, who will cut this out for a single, 87 for 1. Before tonight, Rob Yates, T20 career, 11 matches, top score 37 at an average of 15. So this isn't...
Tonight's his night, Dave.
Yeah, this isn't T20 form. Paul Sterling's not here. Jake Bethel's been left out after a shocking run of scores at the top of the order, and they've promoted Alex Davis and brought in Rob Yates, and he's going after it, and he's hit this one down the ground, just singing his praises, and now he's tossed his wicket away, and Samit Patel punches the air with joy as Notts get the wicket, and I think it's probably a good job that they got rid of Rob Yates when they did, because he was playing very nicely indeed. Samit Patel though just held that one back, and Ben Duckett on the pavilion fence judged the catch nicely, and Yates goes for 53. It's 87 for 2.
Yeah, it's always Samit to call on when we need a wicket. You can call upon Samit. I don't think Rob's quite got there. Quite got that out of the middle. Good catch from Ben Duckett in the deep, and Notts really needed that wicket just to break the partnership up and get a new face in Adam Hose.
Isle of Wight Festival weekend.
Is that his town, is it?
Yeah, there's only two. I think there's only two Isle of Wight born county cricketers, and they both play for Warwickshire, or Birmingham Bears as they are tonight. Danny Briggs, the slow left arm spinner who we'll see later, and Adam Hose, both from Isle of Wight. I think it is the Isle of Wight Festival weekend.
Great knowledge.
That'd be your cup of tea, wouldn't it, Isle of Wight Festival?
Maybe 5 or 6 years ago, Dave.
So here is Adam Hose. The two H's are out there, Hayne and Hose. Talking about where Hose was born, of course Sam Hayne was born in Hong Kong. There's not many of those around in county cricket either at the moment. Where's squad number 21 as well? Adam Hose, the same as the man who's going to bowl to him, Samit Patel, who runs between the umpire and the stumps, bowls it up into the air and very nearly picked out Dan Christian first ball, but he's off the mark. 88 for 2. I thought he'd chip that straight to the skipper.
That would have been nice if it had just gone straight into Dan's hands there. Just looks as if the spinners take the pace off it. It looks just a little bit difficult to get away.
Patel juggling the ball from one end to the other, comes in to bowl to Sam Hayne. Oh, that's an ugly looking shot as well from Sam Hayne. He's got it out to deep mid wicket and he'll come back for 2. Oh, hang on, there's a bit of a whoopsie daisy out there from Stephen Mullaney. He went to field it, and I don't know, can't be any ice out there, can there? It's a bit warm for ice, but his legs went completely from underneath him. He's okay. 90 for 2. He's not bowled much this season, Stephen Mullaney. Gone are the days where him and Patel would come on for 4 overs apiece, bowl in tandem. He's going to get another opportunity here to show it's not ice. He's not, because he can't get there, and Nork and Alex Hales played nicely between them for 4. I think that's the first time I've mentioned Alex Hales as well this evening. He's not been in the game, and that probably goes to show there's not been many shots in the V.
Are we not diving for that?
Hales or Mullaney?
Yeah,
Hales.
Well, Hales, I think, yeah. Might have chucked a dive in. Maybe the ground's a bit too hard. 94 for 2. Next one's cut into the offside, and they take a single. 95 for 2. He's still only Alex Hales. He's not Mr. Stretch or whatever it is. What was the rubber man? Was he Mr. Stretch? Stretch Armstrong, is that? He'd have needed long arms to get anywhere. Fletcher's having a word with him. Probably Luke Fletcher's. He would say it, wouldn't he? You're not diving today then, Alex? I didn't think he could get there personally, but Sam Kelsall is with us this evening. Hard coach. The Staffordshire boys would have been expected to stop that one. It's almost like it's musical chairs, because between overs, when the music is playing, everybody gets up and has a bit of a walkabout that's heading for a beer or an ice cream. Here's the leg spinner Calvin Harrison, who, well, just over a year ago he was Oxford University student, wondering if he'd be able to get perhaps a game or two at a county. He'd played a couple of games I think in 2020 for Hampshire, but they hadn't seemed particularly keen on keeping him. Played against Notts for Oxford University last year, got a century. Notts like the look of him as a batsman, and the rest is history. He's going to bowl to Hayne, who's on 34. Make that 35 as he cuts this into the offside. 96 for 2. Yeah, what a good story. I've not seen a lot of him. I've seen just only on TV.
Leading wicket taker last year in the Blast, and of course he got a 100 contract out of it as well. Good money to be had.
I think it just shows how quickly your career can explode.
Graham Rowley says he can't believe that I know anything about the Isle of Wight Festival. You're probably right, Graham. There's a little push and run here. Patel, the non-striker's end is the throw, and Harrison fields it. He says, in case you're interested, Lewis Capaldi and Madness are the top acts tonight. I think it's on the old BBC a little later on. 97 for 2. In the 10th over. Notts need a flurry of wickets just to stem back the momentum, but that's a good looking shot out into the deep down below us. Ben Duckett comes round and lobs the ball in, and the Bears are now 1 away from a century. 99 for 2.
So I think there's been about 3 or 4 twos since I said there won't be any out there.
Good hard running, isn't it? Playing the ball into the gap with soft hands, and good hard running. There's Harrison. I'm looking forward to seeing him bowl to Brathwaite. This one's hit down the ground. Now then, is there anybody there? Alex Hales comes round and makes the stop. Doesn't have to put in the dive for Sam. When it was in the air, I just wondered if he might be able to get anywhere near it and pull off a catch.
It's a really good start from Harrison.
First 4 balls have gone for 5. He's in again. Quicker ball. Nicely played by Adam Host. Tom Moores comes from behind the stumps and does the fielding. Tom Moores had to retire hurt on Tuesday morning in the championship match at Leicester. Got a nasty one. It came off the bat handle and struck him on the Adam's apple, and he was understandably a little groggy for a while. They checked him out, the physio obviously quickly out there, and they assessed that he had to retire hurt. This is a glorious cricket shot from Sam Hain. He's just backed away. It was the leg spinner, so it was going to go away from the right-hander, and he's deliberately picked it up and lifted it over extra cover and into the Fox Road stand for 6. You said shot. That really is a glorious, glorious sight, and it must be a nice feeling as well to time on as sweetly as that.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest shots I think to execute, and how easy he made that look. Yeah, absolutely great shot. A shame he didn't quite get out of that over, Calvin.
The over cost 12. It's 107 for 2. We're at the halfway stage of the Bears innings. They're on for a good score right now, 200 plus, unless Notts can get some wickets. Samit Patel, 2 overs 1 for 13, going to bowl from the pavilion end. Here he is bowling to Hose. Plays it out backwards a point, and Joe Clark will bounce it into to Tom Moores. The umpires don't like that, do they, when they throw the ball in on the bounce? I think they're deliberately trying to rough it up a little bit. I'm not entirely sure it makes a great deal of difference in these 20 over matches. The crowd all of a buzz at the moment as Hain plays it out again into the offside, and once more Joe Clark bounces the ball in. Chris Watts, the umpire, did turn round there and have a little look at Joe Clark, but there was no comment passed, I don't think. 109 for 2. Patel bowls mistimed from Hose this time.
Yeah, when Joe's throwing that in from the deep, I hope he just misses the test match pitch footholes, else Tom could have a tricky work.
109 for 2. Patel bowls, driven crisply down the ground to Ben Duckett. Took a catch down there to get rid of Rob Yates. 110 for 2. Again, if you're watching the live stream and you've only recently joined us, 1 or 2 problems getting the graphics on and working properly this evening, so we'll keep you up to speed with the score as often as it changes, as Hain gets another run, and now we've got Nelson on the board, so that tends to bring a wicket, doesn't it? Hose is on 5, Hain has 46, the Bears 111 for 2, having been put into bat by Dan Christian. It's his way, he does like to chase. Next one is hit into the offside for 4. Christian dived full length, full stretch, couldn't get there, and a glorious shot to end that Patel over. 3 overs 1 for 21 for Samit Patel. Birmingham Bears 115 for 2 after 11.
Yeah, they'll be disappointed. The last 2 overs last ball of each over going for a boundary. We try and just get out of them overs with no damage, Dave.
Stephen Mullaney is perhaps a little bit belatedly being called up as the sixth bowler. Maybe not. 12th over, six different bowler. I suppose that's okay, but not used to. I know it's going back a few years, and perhaps their best years are maybe behind them, but Notts always had that tried and trusted way of getting through the power play overs, and then you'd see Samit come on at one end 4 overs, Mullaney come on the other end 4 overs, and that 8 overs would tend to really tie down the opposition. And I think, you know, in Notts' successful years, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, when they regularly made the quarters, that was the way they did it. Next one's worked away on the leg side, and they get a single. In fact, they didn't make the quarters in 2015. That's the only time in the last 12 years where they haven't made the quarters. High loopy full toss, first ball from Mullaney. 116 for 2. Next delivery is off the outside edge. He won't get a run there. Fletcher inside the ring at short third, does the fielding.
We've seen so many of them so far this evening. Just beat the fielder. Thankfully, Fletch got down to that one.
116 for 2. Next delivery.
Oh,
Attempted switch hit from Hose. He missed it. And was it called? Was it called or not?
that's a wide, isn't it? No.
Well, he's turned himself. The right-handed Hose has turned himself into a left-hander and missed it down the leg side. So the umpire has said, no, if you want to turn yourself into a left-hander, that's outside your off stump. This is nicely played by Adam Hose. Punches it to deep mid-wicket, and Ben Duckett does the fielding. 118 for 2. Stage is very much set. The platform laid for the likes of Chris Benjamin and Carlos Brathwaite to come in and play their shots. Next one is to short third. Samit does the fielding, and another single taken. 119 for 2.
Hopefully this is the over that Mull can close out now with no boundary on the last ball.
So Haney's on 47 from only 27, continuing his T20 love affair with Trent Bridge. We'll get probably a couple here. Will indeed. That was just nicely played into a gap between two fielders. Dane Patterson has to run round. He was the closest. 121 for 2. So they're going along at 10 and over, aren't they? 121 for 2 after 12 overs. A little bit of La Bamba to liven the crowd up.
It's a real good flow of people over there tonight, isn't there, Dave? Thirsty people.
I would imagine there's a few drinks being purchased and consumed, and some ice creams as well. Don't blame them. Red hot day. So it's the warmest of the summer so far, into the 30s. Harrison from the pavilion end, bowling to Adam Hose, who's on 12 from 11 balls. Harrison bowls to him, lifted up and away, and over the leg side fence for 6. Clean pick-up, nice shot from Adam Hose. Helps it deep into the Fox Road stand, and that's a poor start to the over for Calvin Harrison.
Yeah, not what Calvin would have wanted there. Very good shot.
Playing catch-up straight away, aren't you? Go for 6 first ball. Take 4 or 5 singles the rest of the over, and it's still been a very profitable one for the Bears. Here's Harrison in again to Hose. Slower delivery, played to backward point to Dane Patterson. Just held on to it and didn't feel the need to rush in and try and throw down the stumps. Probably always going to be a single. 128 for 2. And now Sam Hain on 49 on strike.
Just looked up at the board and blink of the eyes, he's on 49.
Averaging 301 here at Trent Bridge going into this game. Next ball is his 50th run. Just pushes it down the ground. You see him in this sort of form, you wonder why he hasn't attracted the attention of the England selectors over the years, but it's not happened for him. Maybe this time yet. 29 ball, half century for Sam Hain. 4 fours, 2 sixes. Harrison bowls, Hose gets it away onto the leg side. One bounce in front of Stephen Mullaney, but that bounce was an awkward one. Nearly came up sort of throat height, and he did well to just play it down into the ground.
Oh, he's done really well there to stop that horrible half volley right in front of him.
Had no chance really to try and rush in and do anything with regards to trying to catch it. It was always going to die in front of him, but it was an awkward bounce. 130 for 2. Next one is chopped into the offside by Hain. Joe Clark doing the fielding. Again, a reminder, Notts won the toss, but that's the way they like to go about their business. They do sort of fancy they can chase down anything. They may need to show that this evening. This is going to be a big one. 131 for 2. Hose on 20. Harrison bowls, and another mighty blow from the Isle of Wight right-hander. He's hit that into the Larwood and Vaux. Stephen Mullaney's out there, and well, he doesn't even bother going to go and look for it.
Yeah, that's a big over for the Bears.
Massive hit from Adam Hose. I think it's... Well, we'll get confirmation of what the score is in a moment. The board has just gone to show some crowd shots. A lot of youngsters there, which is always good to see. Glad they've come along. Hope they'll continue to come back over the years. 50 partnership as well has been brought up with that blow. Adam Hose has contributed 26 of them. Sam Hain 24 of them. This is what the coaches like, isn't it, Sam? It's pretty much an even split.
Yeah, a really strong partnership. I think obviously Sam's going really well, and Adam's come in and played some great shots so far, and is striking it really well. They're setting themselves up here for, I think, a real explosion.
137 for 2. Stephen Mullaney's going to get a second over. His first went for only 6, so they're going along at just over 10 and over. 137 for 2 from 13 as Mullaney from our end of the ground bowls to Hain, who just drives it down to Ben Duckett, who, as is usually his fashion, has the sunglasses on top of the cap. .138 for 2. Hose on strike. Little push onto the onside. Unusually passive there, really. All along it just looked as if he was going to bump that away on the leg side and settle for the single. 139 for 2.
I think he was looking to maybe get that just to the 30-yard circle and try and get a 2 there, and obviously not got enough on it.
Next ball on its way now, and Hain drives down the ground. The last match, last Friday, Birmingham Bears were bowled out for just 101 at home to Yorkshire. And that was batting first. A bit of a shocker. 140 for 2. This week they've lost in the Championship to Lancashire. They've come here with good intent and have got off to a flying start as Hose gets another single on the leg side. Patterson this time the fielder. 141 for 2.
Could have done with that, just sneaking under there.
As William says on Twitter, a little bit old school seeing the outfield looking as dry and parched as it is at the moment.
So Tom Moores is just going back, standing back here.
Doesn't usually do that to Stephen Mullaney in white ball cricket. Here's Mullaney in again, bowls to Adam Hain. Again, he just drops it on the leg side. They're giving Mullaney all the respect in the world here, aren't they? Which is good for Notts and obviously for Stephen Mullaney as well. 142 for 2.
And Tom's back up to the stumps.
Adam Hose, tall young man, bowls and hits it away on the leg side, and again that shortish boundary. I think that might just have been inside. Let's have a look. Umpire Chris Watts was asking for the fielders, but Joe Clark's chasing the ball, gone to fetch the ball back.
I'm calling that 6.
Yeah, it's signalled as 6. It's very, very close to the rope, but with the naked eye, I was waiting for the signal there from somebody, and nobody was content to give it. And there's still having a bit of a debate about it.
I think Dane's saying to Joe, "Come on, mate, that was 4," and Joe's give it 6.
Anyhow, end of the over. Dan Christian coming back for his second over. Nobody's bowled out yet. Matt Carter and Samit Patel have had 3 overs. Luke Fletcher 2. Patterson, Christian, Harrison have had 1 each. No, that can't be right. That cannot be right. We'll just refresh that one. Stephen Mullaney's had a couple yet. We'll come back to that in a second. 148 for 2 after 14 overs. Dan Christian, though, has only had 1 over, so he's going to bowl a second over from the pavilion end. (16) and then 11 the last 2 overs. There's Christian bowling to Hayne on 54. Make that 60 as he helps the first ball into the third row of the Fox Road stand, and also into the hands of somebody who stands up and clutches it. That's a good catch, and the fielder over there goes and gives him a high five for the catch. Stephen Mullaney. 154 for 2. Nice shot from Hayne. He's on to 60. Next ball driven into the offside. Out to Ben Duckett. Goes down with a long barrier. That's good work. Really good work from Duckett. A bit of a miscommunication between the 2 batters. There probably was 2 if Hose had committed to it like Hayne did, but he didn't want to know, and so Sam Hayne had to come halfway down and then hair back and put the dive in to make sure he got there. 155 for 2 here on BBC Radio Nottingham from Trent Bridge, where Notts Outlaws are going to have to chase an awful lot of runs if they're to beat the Birmingham Bears this evening. Adam Hose gets the 156th run for the visitors, just guiding it to backward point. And there's still 5 overs to go after this one. If they keep them under 220, they'll be doing well from here, I think.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I was just thinking, 210, 220. I think Notts will be happy with that.
Well, I don't think they'll be happy, Sam, but from here it could get silly, couldn't it? It could get silly if there's another huge over. Hayne on 61. Christian bowls to him, and this one's mistimed down the ground to Hales. Probably only about the 3rd time we've mentioned Alex Hales. Let's hope we're mentioning him an awful lot a little later on. 157 for 2 with that single in the 15th over.
Yeah, just looking at the guys that are theirs have got to come in still. Some big explosive hitters in Benjamin and Brathwaite. Could potentially get messy, Dave.
Partnership of 70 from just 38 balls. Dan Christian bowling to Adam Hose, and he's going to find the boundary as well on the offside. Don't think it was meant to go there. I think again he was looking for that extra cover route, but just skewed away off the outside portion of the bat and way behind square for 4. 161 for 2.
I think certainly Adam's got licence now, I think, with wickets in hand to really go hard here, and maybe Sam just keeps on doing what he's doing. He's going at a great rate.
Shades of the Lancashire game a little earlier in the group here, where the visitors got off to a flying start and the momentum just couldn't be arrested. Got a good score. Again lifted away for another big 6. This is terrific stuff, really. You have to admit it from the Warwickshire batsman. Adam Hose just helped that one away, banged in short from Christian, and well, it was nothing more than a half tracker. He got underneath it, pulled it away, top edged it a little bit, but there was plenty of bat on that, and it sailed away again into the crowd for 6. 167 for 2 after 15.
Samit coming back into the attack could really do with a wicket here just to break this partnership.
Patel 3 overs 1 for 21. 19 came from that Dan Christian over with a couple of sixes. Samit Patel has 1 over left, then Matt Carter has 1 over left. There's still 5 to go. You'd imagine Luke Fletcher will have a couple. Dane Patterson's only had the 1 over, went for 15 runs, but I seem to think there was a 6 right at the end of his over. 167 for 2. Patel, as always, going to be running between the umpire and the stumps. More standing up, and Hayne on strike. Well, again we see the first ball just disappear out of the playing area. It actually bounced on top of the hover cover towards the William Clark stand area, and now they're trying to find the ball. I think it's got lost somewhere in those foam cushions at the side of the hover cover, and it's been found by Joe Clark. That must be what, 3, 4, 5 times they've started an over with a 6.
It's just such hard work to try and claw it back now.
There's Patel bowling to Hayne, full toss, 4 runs. Just a little look towards the umpires, just in case they didn't consider it, or just in case they did consider it too high. Thankfully they didn't. That was just on food and drink, really, wasn't it? Outside the off stump, fairly high full toss, and Sam Hayne, whose best score was on this ground, 92 not out. He's on 72 already. Next ball is hit straight just to the onside, and we'll go for 4 as Duckett emerges below us, puts the slide in, and he couldn't stop it. And this is
a huge over.
It has to be said, it's a bit of a flat performance from Notts in the field, and sometimes see it with sides. We've had the switch, the stopping momentum, the breaking momentum for the county championship games. Some of the players were involved, some weren't, but the momentum they were building up with that first block of 70-20 games, it just seems as if they've come out tonight and they've just not been able to pick up the pace. Patel bowls wide-ish of the off stump, and Hayne drives into the offside for 4 more, and this is getting very, very messy. That's a 6 and 3/4s in this Patel over, and there's still 2 balls to come. 185 for 2, and as well as anything else, it's really going to damage the net run rate for Notts. They got hammered by Lancashire by 80 odd runs, and that hurt them. Their net run rate, they eventually dragged it back, winning 3 matches after then, but this is going to set them back. They really are going to have to, they're going to have to bat well whatever happens later on, but they really do need to put a break on the scoring here, get some wickets somehow, and just hope against hope that some of these batsmen give their wickets away. 185 for 2, still 4 overs and 2 balls left as Patel is into Hayne on 80. Hits this one down the ground, and that'll be 4 more. He's bisected Duckett and Hales, and well, the crowd just getting a little disgruntled. There were 1 or 2 groans there, audible groans, and that's the 100 partnership, Sam, from just 45 balls.
Fantastic batting. Just keeps the game so simple. Strong shots. We need a wicket. We need a wicket.
189 for 2. Last ball of the 16th over. And after a 6 and 4 4s, Samit Patel bowls a dot ball, and Patel has finished 4 overs 1 for 43. His first over went for 4. Got a wicket as well. Had a little bit of tap since then. This is terrific stuff, you have to say, from the Bears, and it hurts saying it, but they've come out tonight and absolutely ruthlessly taken down Notts so far. 189 with 4 overs left.
I think that 220 is in a little bit of danger of being more here.
So Luke Fletcher to bowl the 17th over.
Carter's still got 1.
Yeah, Carter's got 1. Dane Patterson's only had 1. Dan Christian's had 2. Harrison's had 2. Mulaney's had 2, so lots of options. Going to be Luke Fletcher chatting to the captain right now. Partnership of 102 from 46 balls. Adam Hose 45 from 21. Sam Hayne 84 from 42. Strike rate of 200 then for Hayne, who never really gave an opportunity, did he, early on? But he just looked a little bit ugly for Sam Hain. His first 10 or 15 runs, but once he got 1 or 2 away to the boundary rope, he just really took off, quickly went through the gears, and he's been absolutely at full throttle since. Fletcher being very particular about the field he's setting. The 5 out, 3 on the offside, 2 on the leg. In fact, now he's changed it yet. Long off. Ben Duckett being brought inside the ring, and Stephen Mullaney, who was at square leg, is being dropped out. So now there's 3 on the leg side. That was just a sudden change of heart, wasn't it? 3 on the leg side. There's Fletcher. Wouldn't imagine he'll be bowling. Well, it was nice and full. See, that bluff me in. Did that make any sense to you? Because he brought Long off up, so you wouldn't expect he'd be pitching the ball up to drive, but he did. He got it right up in the block hole.
Yeah, I always thought obviously we know Fletcher's always going to try and get them Yorkers in. Maybe with him bringing mid-off up, he's going to try and go a little bit straighter. And he's just put that deep square leg out for a bit of extra protection.
Adam Hose on 45. Fletcher trying to dislodge him. It's a low full toss that's come off the outside edge and run down on the 45. Clark does the fielding, just a single taken, 190 for 2. Terrific score already, really, 190. So maybe at the start of the evening that would perhaps be sort of there or thereabouts par. Difficult to tell the body language, you know. It's a lot of people in here, of course, and you know, you can't hear the shouts. They're often accused, if that's the right word, of being a little bit of a quiet team in the field. 1 or 2 loud characters, Luke Fletcher one of them, and Dan Christian, of course, the skipper. Generally lots of encouragement, but they do seem a little flat this evening. 190 for 2. Hain on strike on 84, goes down on one knee, and he's disappointed to miss out. Just gets a single. He's again looking to try and target the ropes. Been a colossal number of boundaries. About 11 sixes already in this innings. $191 for 2. 2 singles in this Fletcher over only. And again, he's holding things up whilst he has a reassessment. Now Ben Duckett will drop down onto the long off fence, and in comes Stephen Mullaney at square leg. Fletcher past umpire Warren. Oh, full toss, just heaved away. Will that make the it won't quite clear the Fox Road stand, but it's very much up near the top of it. It's a low full toss, and really for a player like Adam Hose, who's pretty much middle most things, that was an invitation to move to a very, very swift half century, which he has done. 24 balls, 2 4s and 5 6s. Top-notch stuff from both of these.
Yeah, Fletcher's just missed his length there, and anything slightly wrong these days goes out the park. He's played a great hand there, Hain. Sorry, Hose.
Both of them, to be fair. Sam Kelsall with us this evening. I think we've got a bit of a wardrobe malfunction here. Something has either snapped or needs replacing. Sam Hain. Is it a new thigh pad or some such? I'm not sure. No, it's the ball. They've gone to get a spare ball. Maybe, so that one's not come back. Maybe it did hit the step and then bounce over the top of the Fox Road and away. 197 for 2 it is in the 17th over. 2 Bears batters just taking on board a little bit of fluid. Notts have got to be gobsmacked down there, haven't they? And what they've seen and the way it's panned out, the way the batters have executed this innings.
Yeah, I do agree with you, Dave. It has felt a little flat tonight. The energy in the field has felt a little bit off. I don't know if that's fair of me to say, but not taking anything away from the Warwickshire guys. I think they've batted brilliantly.
found the gaps, haven't they? On another night, one or two perhaps might have been hit straight to the fielder, and that can break momentum. In truth, everything that has been hit in the air has gone for six. Everything along the ground pretty much has managed to bisect the fielders, and whether you say that's good or bad fortune or absolutely top-notch batting, I guess depends on which side you're following. But this is, it has to be said, a really, well, it's gone beyond a platform. I was going to say a really impressive platform they're setting for the likes of Benjamin and Brathwaite, but they might not even need Benjamin and Brathwaite. This pair doing it on their own. Fletcher bowls, and again the ball hit very, very hard indeed by Adam Hose out into the offside for a single. Up next for Notts, trip to the seaside at Stanley Park, Blackpool on Sunday afternoon against Lancashire, and then back here on Tuesday against Leicestershire. Games come thick and fast. Next Thursday again here at Trent Bridge against Derbyshire, and a week tonight up in the northeast against Durham. 198 for 2, so a week from now we'll pretty much know what the Outlaws' fate is with regards to a finishing position in the group, as Fletcher bowls to Hayne, who punches this out as far as Patterson, and a single taken, and it's 199 for 2 at the end of the 17th over. It's 10 from that over. It seemed like more, didn't it, with a 6 in it? I suppose that's not the worst of outcomes.
I think he just missed one Yorker, which obviously got dispatched away. Obviously we see Dane coming back into the attack now.
So potentially they'll go Patterson, Fletcher, Patterson to finish, unless Dane gets treated harshly, and of course it could well happen. They'll be looking to see if they can find an extra gear right now, you'd imagine, which hardly seems possible when they're going along at almost 12 and over. 199 for 2. This could be a huge score. So it's going to be Patterson to Hayne, who's on 86. Here is Dane Patterson. Bowls, and Sam Haynes hit this one high, and handsome down the ground for 6 runs. And again an over begins with a maximum. Didn't quite reach this middle tier of the Radcliffe Road stand to our left. I think it would have just dropped down on the patrons down below us, but from the second it left the bat, it was sailing into the stand. And so Hayne matching what he did here in, I think, 2016, does have best of 95. He's never had a T20 century. 205 for 2. Next ball is hit away for 4. 209 for 2, and Sam Hayne now does have a best in T20 cricket of 96, and no sign that he's going to stop yet. First 2 balls of the over go for 10, and it's 209 for 2.
First 2 balls, just execution, not what he would have wanted, and Sam's capitalised and staring down on a century here.
Highest total against Notts is the 229 that the Bears scored here last year. So it looks as if they're going to beat their own Trent Bridge best. 4 more. 100. This time a full toss, and that's a century for Sam Hayne. Very, very well battered indeed. 47 ball century for Sam Hayne. 10 4s and 5 6s. Just what is it about cricket at the moment? Johnny Bairstow here earlier in the week. Salt and Milan and Butler earlier in the day in the Netherlands. Sam Hayne cashing in a century from 47 balls.
Outstanding knock. Pleasure to watch. Obviously not as a Notts supporter, but you have to take your hats off.
213 for 2. Notts getting a right old toasting under this hot sun. Next one just played into the offside for a single. Adam Hose back on strike on 53. 14 balls left in the innings. 214 for 2. Just wondered if it might all be set up for a late blitz from the likes of Benjamin and Brathwaite, but as I said a moment or two ago, doesn't look like they might be needed. 127 this pair have put on from 56 balls. There's a lengthy chat here between Dan Christian and Alex Hales and Dane Patterson. They've all played international cricket, but to come up with a formula here for keeping the Bears quiet, I'm not sure what they can come up with, and this one's been deposited away on the leg side for 6 more. And generally you'll hear huge roars in a crowd if the ball is smacked out of the ground, but this is a subdued, almost sedate Notts crowd here. They've almost been stunned into silence.
Yeah, it's very, very quiet out there in the stands. That's the 220 up.
That's 20 off 4 balls in this over. 6, 4, 4, 6. Pat on the back from Captain Christian to Dane Patterson. He's got the ball back. I'm not entirely sure that he wants to get it back.
Who's going to bowl the last now?
Well, there's still 2, isn't there? Might be Fletcher and Christian. Next ball. Oh, down the leg side. Did it brush the pad? Got away with it. Got away with it. End of the over. 220 for 2 after 18.
Adam will be kicking himself there. Has not managed to get that away.
Well, somehow Notts got to bowl 2 maidens, I think. 220 would be a tall order, but anything more than that. Fletcher's going to have the 19th, so we're going to find out in a second, aren't we? Well, after this over, wouldn't be at all surprised if somebody who does like to put his head on the chopping block, isn't he, Dan Christian? He may well take the last over, or he may well give it to Dane Patterson.
Yeah, if I'm a betting man, I don't think Dane's going to have another one.
So Fletcher to bowl to Hayne, who's on 101 not out, his first century in T20 cricket. Luke Fletcher bowls to him. Sam Hayne hits it back straight under the legs of Fletcher. Tried to put those big size 15s down on it, couldn't, and it went away from him and down the ground for 4.
A little bit of a flashback there, Dave, to the previous incident a few years ago.
Thankfully it was along the ground, but again it was hit pretty hard by Sam Hayne. Tell you what, Steve Boats, the groundsman's producing some cracking wickets for the batters here. 224 for 2. Here's Fletcher. In again, bowls to Sam Hayne. This time he gets it out towards mid-wicket. It's going to take some cutting off there.
Well fielded.
Has been done by Calvin Harrison, who somehow from on the ground gets enough momentum to throw the ball in and keep them to 2.
I think that's the first time we've heard the crowd tonight as well.
Yeah, 226 for 2. That was very good work. Crikey, this has been a bit of a chastening experience for the Outlaws supporters. Notts top of the Division 2 table in red ball cricket, and this year it's the white ball game that's eluding them. Again, hit back past Fletcher down the ground for 4. Solidly hit by Sam Hayne. My word, he's on to Nelson. 111 from 51 balls, 230 for 2, and that is now a new highest score in T20 cricket against Notts. This is the 20th year of the competition, and nobody before has scored 230 against Notts. Pretty much sort of puts it in the right sort of box, doesn't it? It's 1 in a 20 years occasion, this, for Notts.
Yeah.
They've either never been as bad as this in the field, or they've never run into a side that's been as strong with the bat.
Yeah, we don't seem to have had any answers for the Bears batsmen tonight.
230 for 2. Luke Fletcher from the pavilion end bowls to Hayne, goes across his stumps and punches it out to Harrison. They take a single. 231 for 2, and again Calvin Harrison getting a bit of a cheer. Perhaps he's endeared himself to 1 or 2 of the fans over there. Brings Adam Hose back on strike on 59 from just 27 balls. So he's rattling along at more than 2 a ball. 231 for 2.
And 2 big balls here. Fletch can just get out of this over with minimal damage. Another change in the field.
Yep, Joe Clark brought into the ring at third man. This one goes through to Moores. Partly because Adam Hose just tried to do something a little funky. He's rehearsing it now, just tried to go down and scoop it over Moores. Seems to have been pretty effective when he just stood there and whacked almost the skin off the cricket ball this evening. Never mind just trying to scoop it over the keeper. It's nice to have all these fancy little tricks in the locker, but why change if it's not broke?
Yeah, I think the mentality is just, they bring the fielder up, can we hit it over that fielder that's now in?
2:31 for 2. Final ball of the 19th over. Birmingham Bears batting and making a very good job of it as Hose punches it out to deep point to Dane Patterson. 2:32 for 2. There's 1 over left. Luke Fletcher's finished. 4 overs, no maidens, none for 35 for Luke Fletcher. 1 over to go. And is it going to be Captain Christian? Dane Patterson doesn't appear to be advancing towards the umpire to hand over his cap. No, it is going to be the skipper to take responsibility for the final over. This is a game that you'd have to say has all but gone for Notts. They're going to have to produce themselves a once in a 20-year performance to chase it down. They've never scored anything like 240-ish that it's going to be at the end of this over to win a game. 2:32 for 2 with 1 to go.
Yeah, certainly looking to the man at the top of the innings for Notts, Alex, to have a belter tonight.
So here's Christian to bowl to Hose, who's on 60. First one is helped away for 6. It was short and just sat up to be punched away. 6 runs again from the first ball of the over.
I think we were nearly close to double figures now, David. How many times that first ball has disappeared into the crowd tonight?
The applause is for the 150 partnership, 151 from 65 balls. Guess we'll have to do a little bit of homework after the game. I don't think there's been a 150 partnership against Notts in T20 before, and it might get worse. It does. Another 6, this time over mid-wicket. Christian's gone 6-6 at the start of the final over. 244 for 2. We're almost looking at domestic T20 blast record scores right now. Still 4 balls left, so Dan Christian can just break this momentum. Adam Hose on to 72. He might be wishing there was another couple of overs left. 72 from 31 not out, from 31 balls for Hose.
He's going to come round the wicket.
4 balls time, Sam. I'm going to ask you to sum this up, what you've seen and what chances Notts have got before,
at the moment, mate.
before. Here's Christian bowls, and it's going to be called down the leg side, so that's a wide.
That is tough.
245 for 2. You've been a captain, you've been a coach, you've been a frontline batter, so you've been in all 3 scenarios, I'm sure, where you've either been playing in a side, or you're coaching a side, or captain in a side, where you've got to go out, and even in club cricket, and you pretty much know that not an awful lot is expected of you. I just wonder how Dan Christian is going to be able to inspire the guys. They're obviously going to have a tremendous power play. Christian bowls and will field off his own bowling as it's hit on the bounce back to him by Adam Hose. It's a dot ball as well. 245 for 2.
How many dots has there been tonight? Yeah, look, I think knowing a few of them boys in that dressing room, you have to be confident that we have the batting in the Notts lineup that can go and chase us down. It's a belting pitch, fast outfield. Can he just get 3?
There's Christian bowling. Oh, it's a full toss, and on the scoop, Adam Hose has got that away for 6 more to take them up to 250 for 2. In fact, 251 for 2. Sam, there are 2 balls left here. 251 for 2, the domestic record of found it juggling jobs at 2 jobs at once here. Is 260 for 4 that Yorkshire got against Northants at Leeds in 2017. 260 for 4 is the domestic record. So
I'm not sure you're going to be inviting me into the box again, Dave.
No. Of course we are. 251 for 2. 2 balls left. Christian Bowles, a 6 and a 4 would do it. And there is the 6 behind square, just lifted up and away by Adam Hose. On to 84. 257 for 2. So a boundary, and that would be the highest score in the 20 years of domestic T20 cricket. As it is, it's currently the 2nd highest. And there's 1 ball left. I hope you're thinking what to say. I'm looking for words of...
I'm digging deep, Dave.
Yeah. Dan Christian has gone for 55. He's got 1 ball left in his 3rd over. He bowls now, and that's hit away, and that is 4 runs, which takes the Bears to a new domestic T20 record. 261 for 2 against Notts Outlaws. Adam Hose, 88 not out. Sam Hain, 112 not out. And the pair have added 174 from 71 balls. Sam.
Thanks, Dave. Look, just seeing Alex run off the pitch there and Joe, there'll be a bit between their teeth to go and chase this down. I think what we've just witnessed there, you know, sometimes you have to put your hands up and say well batted. I think we've just seen a bit of a masterclass from them 2 guys there. And look, I think we both said maybe a little bit lacklustre in the field. Energy looked to be slightly down, and I think there was a number of overs through that 20 overs there that the first ball and the second ball disappeared for boundaries. And I think when that happens, it's really difficult to claw that over back. And look, it's a belting pitch, as we know, here at Trent Bridge, and a lightning fast outfield. And can Dan Christian gather them boys now and G them up and let's get... Yeah, I'm confident here. I'm feeling a hailstorm that can brew, and we see a record chase here tonight.
Thanks for now, Sam Kelsall. We'll give Sam a break. He's put a good old shift in there. I don't think he was quite expecting to come here back to his old ground and see the Notts attack flayed like it was. Notts did pick up a couple of wickets. Alex Davis caught by Dan Christian at extra cover from the bowling of Matt Carter for 5. That was 18 for 1. Rob Yates, he got a very quick half century. 53 he made from 26 balls, and then he hit Samit Patel down the ground, a catch by Ben Duckett. That was 87 for 2, but no further success. Sam Hain, 112 not out, getting to his 100 from 47 balls. Adam Hose, 88 not out. He got to his 50 from 24. The Bears, a new domestic T20 record, 261 for 2. I think I need a comfort break as we hand back to Alex Noble.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've literally just seen some brutal batting from the Birmingham Bears, creating a new domestic record for T20 of 261 for 2. Now, if you've been watching the stream since the very beginning, you will realise that we've had some issues. Obviously, the heat has got into all of our equipment and it's caused some technical gremlins. So however you're watching us, we are going to do a reboot of our whole system, so that does mean that we'll be away for a couple of minutes, but all you'll need to do is refresh after a couple of minutes. Ben Slater's going to join me and we'll go through what has just happened and what the Outlaws need to do.